What's up, everyone? Today we have a Magnum Stihl BR800X. So every time I post a Stihl video, it does pretty well. I'm assuming it's because if you do own one of these and it breaks down, you probably use it professionally, or at least a lot, because they're 1 or 2 times a year homeowners not going to be purchasing something this expensive or large, at least I'd hope not. It's probably expensive to fix. I quoted a local area a professional shop. That's all they do, and for a different project brought not that long ago. And let's just say I don't understand why people get it repaired. It'd be cheaper just to buy a new one. Anyway, having said that, I don't charge outrageous prices. Barely cover my own costs because it's my hobby. What we're going to do is, I am told that this will run, but over time it will start to lose power. I don't know if it's a carb problem, probably a tuning problem, I'm assuming so, or a plug spark arrestor, all of which could be the problem at the same time, maybe just one, we don't know. So I don't know exactly what doesn't run very well means, so let's take a look. Because literally I haven't even seen this for more than 5 minutes, so we're looking at this together. First things first, I want to look at the fuel. Fuel is important. I don't know when the last time he used it. He didn't tell me. And maybe the last time he used it was in the fall time. It's now early spring. Very, very early spring. Let's just take a urine sample real quick here. It's green. That's not good. It's probably pretty old. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out the whole container, which is almost full, by the way, and see if that has any additional benefit or help with this problem. But first things first is I want to see how this runs. So let's see. We're going to back up a bit. The reason why we're going to back up a bit is this. When I was looking at that fuel a little closer, I don't know how mixed it is. I think it's mixed, but I don't know if it's the right mixture. So in here is non-ethanol. It's maybe a few weeks old. At least that's how long I've had it. The gas station I go to is pretty popular because it's the only one around here that sells non-ethanol within about, it's 15 minutes away from me, and next closest one's about 45. In here is Red Armor. It's an Echo branded oil. It's really, really good. It's supposed to clean your engine and your exhaust and spark arrestor and all that. I don't necessarily believe that one, but I think it might do more than the cheap one, that's for sure. So I removed all the fuel and put in a few ounces. I don't have the air hole opened up on this, so it's pouring very slowly, which I kind of want. So I wanted to make sure the fuel filter is fully submerged. And I'm almost out of gas, so I guess right now is probably okay to just, that should be more than enough. I need to make more. So this is a 4-mix engine, which basically means it has valves just like a 4-cycle would, but it doesn't use crankcase oil. It uses the oil from the fuel, so it's like a mixture between 2 and 4. So, I mean, it's a pretty decent idea. I personally don't really like these just because when you complicate things, it just becomes more and more problematic. And adding valves to a 2-cycle is adding more complexity to it. But it does work good. I had a video before on adjusting the valves, and a few people posted comments on there about how you could do it by altering the fuel gauges. I'm aware of that. I just don't really like to alter my feeler gauges if I don't have to. I mean, I guess I could. Let's give it a pull. Make sure it's on. Okay, it's on now. About half throttle. Should be on choke. So I think it's on choke. Maybe it's not on choke. It smells like gas. Full throttle it is. It might be flooded. If it is flooded, then this will help clear it. So far, this whole thing of it running, kind of questionable. And turn off full throttle so I can turn the choke on. Try this again. Doesn't help when you can't even get anything to happen. Let me do a little bit of work because I smell fuel here. There's this kind of, well, it's not kind of, it is a rule for small engines. It's called a 10-20-30. Basically, it kind of goes over gaps you should have for certain things. Well, the 30 part of it should be for spark plugs. This is the plug that came out of it. It looks a little excessive to me. We are at probably roughly 35. So we're going to press in the electrode a little bit. See if we can't get this down to a more manageable 30. And yes, I know this is probably not the best gauge. A little bit more. Don't want to overdo it. You can break it, potentially. It's like 27, 28, 29, something like that. In addition to that, it's also a little wet in there. Okay. We're going to put the plug back in. I also dried the plug because it was a tad moist. Quick little tighten. There we go. Nothing much, just enough so it doesn't come out. Now we have good fuel. Let's see if this starts. Not looking likely. Make sure we're still on, and we are. Just go full throttle again. It's gonna kick us out, choke. That's okay. Well, we're not on choke. There must be a lot of gas in there. Let's make sure we're still on full. We could go a little higher. Let's try this again. We know we have spark. We know the gas in there good is right now is good. Let's try this 2 more times. If we get the same result, we might look into that spark arrestor. The reason why I think spark arrestor is for 2 main reasons. The second one's the most likely. One, it's a 2-cycle. Spark arrestors are, what happens? They get plugged. It's just what happens. And two, the Stihl logo on there confirms that it was made by Stihl, and that's usually a good indication your spark arrestor is plugged too. I think we have, let's try to tune it and get a screwdriver. So in there is a splined tuning screwdriver, and I'm turned it in about a half turn. What I'm thinking is happening is we're not on choke. We're either very rich or we are pretty much running on choke, but the opposite end, like I said, the spark arrestor. I'm gonna go with the easy one first. Let's see if that makes any difference. Still full throttle. No, it's not. Now it is. Hey, evacuate this garage real quick. So the true test was, will it start again? Let's try that. And all I did was I pulled on it, and then you saw the rest. Okay, what did we learn today? We learned on a BR800X and 800, I mean, it's probably not much of a difference. The quality of oil is very, or excuse me, gas is very important. This is a, I don't know, T20 something, if Mark Wardoff. I use this one a lot. But in addition to that, gap, spark plug gap opened up. I don't know if that's just because it's worn. It didn't seem very worn. But, and we also learned that when you are looking for a tuning screwdriver, the last one on the bottom of the bag is the one you want. So if you go for the top one, that's not the right one. If you go for the bottom one, it's not the right one. Stihls in particular, all machines of this type need good fuel. I can't stress that enough. Needs good fuel. And you know, once we did that, it ran a whole lot better. In addition to that, just because something's running poorly doesn't mean you should be adjusting a needle. I'm sure if we kept on adjusting, it probably would have ran okay on the fuel that was in there, but not where it should be. And even then, as soon as you burn through that fuel, you're gonna have an adjustment problem. Change the fuel, then adjust the carburetor. They, I believe, did this reversed. They just kept on adjusting, kept on adjusting, kept on adjusting until eventually it just got to the point where it's starting to flood over. I had to turn that screw in, I think 3 times. Could be a little bit less, I don't remember. But it's running good now. It starts, idles perfect, no problems. So just because you have old fuel doesn't necessarily mean you have to clean the carb, but before you do any adjustment, check the fuel. So that's going to be the end of this one. Definitely keep watching, subscribe, follow me on Small Engine 101 on Instagram. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good night.